Hello everyone, this is Ramlais from 40k Theories, and welcome to this new episode of 40k Lore for Newcomers. For this episode, nominated on Patreon by Scarlet Kingdom, we will be taking a brief look at the Eagle Warriors chapter of the Adeptus Astartes. This video will be a brief overview for certain events that may be explored in greater depth within additional videos in the future. So without further ado, let's begin.
By thy colour will he know thee, by thy banners will he fear thee, by thy standard will he dread thee. Cry, Marine, and let slip the weapons of war.
The Eagle Warriors are a loyalist chapter of the Adeptus Astartes descended from the famed Ultramarines Legion. Like all Space Marines, each of the chapter's warriors is a genetically enhanced transhuman super soldier, which is stronger, faster, and tougher than any baseline human. The Eagle Warriors were officially established during the events of the Second Founding, shortly after the culmination of the galactic civil war known as the Horus Heresy. In the wake of such a devastating conflict, the surviving loyalist Space Marine legions were broken apart and divided into multiple smaller chapters to ensure that a civil war on the scale of the Heresy could never happen again. The Eagle Warriors, like many chapters from this time, were initially established as a fleet-based chapter, traveling from system to system on an endless crusade against the enemies of man. However, unlike the majority of Second Founding chapters, the Eagle Warriors would never choose to enact their right of conquest, a provision that allowed them to settle permanently on a world that they had won for the Imperium, instead choosing to remain fleet-based to this day. In particular, the Eagle Warriors have taken it upon themselves to patrol those regions of space that have been brought into compliance by their forebearers, the Ultramarines, during the Great Crusade, acting as the self-appointed guardians of their Primarch's legacy. The Eagle Warriors have fought within countless theatres of war over the past 10,000 years, such as the Battle for Chiron's Pass, the Zeist campaign, and the Indomitus Crusade. One of the chapter's more notable campaigns in recent years was the Defense of Hythe. In 994 M41, the city of Hythe, the capital of a world presumably of the same name, came under assault from an undesignated Tyrannid splinter fleet. While the shadow in the warp projected by the aliens eventually smothered all attempts at interstellar communication, Hythe's astropathic wire succeeded in transmitting a distress call, one that the Eagle Warriors were swift to respond to. While the chapter's intention was to reach the city itself in order to reinforce its defenses prior to the Tyrannid assault, they were ultimately forced to deploy their forces upon the Great Plain that lay before it, acting as a wall of ceramite and steel that was all that stood between Hythe and the ravenous swarm. As the Tyrannids approached, the chapter's assault centurions, storm-raven gunships, and dreadnoughts unleashed an overwhelming storm of firepower, cutting down wave after wave of gene-stealers and other alien monstrosities that bounded towards them with unrelenting ferocity, while their devastator centurions focused on taking down airborne threats such as harpies and harridans. After fighting non-stop for several weeks, the Eagle Warriors would finally emerge triumphant, ensuring that Hythe would not succumb to the hunger of the Hive Fleets. As an Ultramarine successor, the Eagle Warriors are widely believed to be a Codex-compliant chapter, meaning that they fully adhere to the tenets and guidelines of the Codex Astartes, the sacred text penned by their Primarch, Rabute Guilliman. In reality, little is known about the chapter's various customs and culture, as such details have seemingly never been recorded by outsiders. Being descended from Ultramarine stock, the gene seed of the Eagle Warriors is noted for both its purity and stability, displaying little to no signs of genetic degradation or mutation. In fact, the Eagle Warriors are one of the few successor chapters throughout the entire Adeptus Astartes which are known to have sired successors of their own, as the gene seed of the Eagle Warriors would be used to give rise to the Marines Errant chapter. However, in a more bizarre turn of events, There exist a handful of records that state that the Eagle Warriors were themselves the primogenitors of the mysterious and savage Carcharodons chapter, although the majority of Imperial scholars scoff at such claims, believing them to be entirely lacking in credibility. And that concludes this edition of 40k Lore for Newcomers. If you liked this video, consider supporting us on Patreon for more content. To those that are new to 40k, we hope you learned something. So leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.